This morning, I told my husband that even though I had been around a lot of people in the last couple of weeks, I was feeling really lonely, just like down, disconnected. Like I just wanted someone to reach out to me and not be the one thinking about making plans. It got us talking about the ways that parenthood and our marriage and different seasons has felt lonely. And we're in a place now where our family feels like a very engaging place. Like I feel very refilled. I mean, I also feel drained by my family, let's be honest, but there's a lot more refillment that is happening. And I'm feeling, really good and connected in our marriage. Um, but there have been seasons where it definitely wasn't that way, where the marriage and our relationship specifically as partners felt lonely. Like you love your partner, right? And you share a home, kids, a whole life together, and somehow you feel lonely. And I remember feeling like we were side by side, doing life side by side, but not really with each other, not as intertwined as I wanted it to feel. And I did an episode recently on feeling like roommates, and that's how this comes out with a lot of people that I talk to, that they feel like roommates with their partners. And it just doesn't feel like deep satisfaction. And the feeling of loneliness is a big indicator of relationship dissatisfaction. So I wanted to talk about it today. One, because I've been there. My husband and I have been there, and we've talked very openly about how lonely different seasons felt for us, even when we were spending so much time together. And this is something I hear from both of the clients when I'm working with couples. They usually feel lonely, but in different ways. So I want to talk a little bit about that today, about why it happens, and some ways, of course, to reconnect. Per usual with the podcast, this is going to be general, but if it really hits with you and you want to dig deeper into this, I would highly recommend my 4-month relationship roadmap coaching, where I work with you one week, your partner the next week, and the two of you together every 3 weeks to help you get to each have space to talk about where you are, what you need, who you are, what you're hoping for in your life, and to do that unreserved, but then to also have someone facilitating, bringing that together and making sure you have meaningful conversation about that. And if you're feeling lonely, this is maybe just a great sign to get that support and have that reconnect. Because the reality is that being together all the time doesn't mean feeling a connection. And there are common reasons for emotional distance. This is life turns into logistics, right? Who's picking up the kids? Did that bill get paid? Who's making dinner? You haven't had a deep, non surface level conversation in weeks. Maybe there's unresolved conflict, resentment. This is where I start with all of my new couples, is on getting some of that resentment to the surface and being able to resolve it and address it. Because when it's in there, living in your body unresolved, this makes you avoid emotional intimacy. And that's going to end up in feeling lonely. And maybe you show love differently, but neither of you feels it the way that you need to. Now, you might already know that you're in a loneliness cycle, but if you're not sure, here's a few signs that you could be looking at. One, your conversations feel repetitive or transactional. So you say the same thing every day. Hey, babe, how was your day? What time do you go to the office tomorrow? How many times did he poop while I was gone? Maybe they're just transactional, right? Like, I need this. Can you get that? What do you need? There's not a lot of depth or connection beyond kind of that lowest level of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So if you think about that, you've got the things that kind of put you in the survival mode with your partner. We're taking care of business. We're making sure that we can still have a house to live in and keep our kids fed and not miss birthdays. That's a level that we're in at some point. But When you start to feel the loneliness, you're like, okay, I actually think we deserve to be on a higher level here. And rebuilding that connection is the way that we start doing that. Maybe you don't feel emotionally chosen by your partner. You're feeling lonely because you're feeling not chosen. And maybe that's true to some extent, and maybe it's not. Regardless, the feeling of that can be heavy and sad and disconnect us. Maybe you're craving affection, but you don't know how to ask for it. And you wish that your partner just knew what you needed, but you don't even know what you needed. And so sometimes when they try, maybe it's right, maybe it's totally wrong. It doesn't feel good when we're not getting the affection we want, but sometimes we're not sure how to ask for it. And maybe you're turning to TV, social media, or other distractions instead of turning to each other. Especially when you're feeling some emotions, ask yourself, when I have feelings, do I make space to connect with another human that I love over those? Or do I go to numb out on social media or on TV so that I don't address them? I love you, and I'm also here to tell you that not addressing them is not serving you. Okay. We want to rebuild connection. So we want to challenge ourselves to turn toward our partner. Okay. What if for 1 week, anytime your partner initiates a connection, even in tiny ways, you respond? This might just be a smile or a few extra seconds of eye contact or a hug. Put the phone down, physically turn toward your partner and make a response. Try it and come back and tell me that that doesn't enrich your connection. Increase the intentional micro moments together. So again, like, get out of that repetition. Don't say, how was your day every day? You're living in a twilight zone, like the same thing, or a Groundhog's Day. I don't know which of those metaphors make the most sense, but you're not living in the like intentional, enriched life that you say you want. So change it up. What was the weirdest thing that happened today? What made you really proud? What obstacle did you think you weren't going to overcome? Try to open things up a little bit more and get out of that rut. Maybe you even surprise them with a small, thoughtful action. Like, I'm going to compliment my partner tonight, or I'm going to bring them their favorite snack, or there's this place we always love to go. Like, what if I make a reservation next week for that and we just get excited about that? These changes that you want to see don't happen in big week-long vacations or, a new fancy car. These things happen in the small moments of your life together. That is really what's indicative of what kind of life you're living. It is the small day-to-day connections. And it doesn't have to be fancy. Now, don't get me wrong. Would I love to go on a week-long trip to an island with my husband right about now? Yes, I would. But I also know that if we're not good at communicating, if we're not good in stressful situations, if we're not good at speaking our preferences, then that vacation is going to suck. And so why would I pay $3,000 for a week of suck? It is the day-to-day things that carry over and that make everything else more enjoyable. So if you are feeling lonely in your relationship, hi, hello, it's okay. It's not because you're dumb or broken or ugly. It's because life has changed and it can feel awkward and it can feel lonely. But don't wait for your partner to make the first move. Don't wait for a perfect time. You have more control over your relationship and the satisfaction than you think you do. Pick a small way to reach out today and see how your partner responds. And use every opportunity as a chance to be your own detective and learn more about yourself. What was hard about doing that for me? What did I resist? What did I enjoy? What idea did I have that I pushed down because another part of my brain said that was dumb? Get curious about yourself. And the more you do that, the more you're going to enjoy knowing how to make the kind of connections that leave you feeling more fulfilled and not so lonely. If you are someone who's looking for connection with other women, so that you are getting to know yourself again, so that you can feel good in your own skin. If you're really wanting to explore you as an individual before getting support on your relationship, I want to invite you to the Confident Mom Reset, which is my small group program where I'm just working with the moms and we are reclaiming our energy, reprioritizing our passions, getting to know you and what's standing in your way so that you can be a more confident, fulfilled version of yourself. And then the domino effect is that's what you bring into the marriage, that's what you bring into home. And that is powerful. So, if that's you, we have a new cohort starting on April 6th. After that, we will have one that starts mid May. And you can email me, Chelsea at postpartumtogether.com, if you would want one of those spots. And I'll also put a link to the group in the show notes. Stay groovy. I don't even really know what I mean by that, but I'm going to roll with it. Stay groovy, babes.
If you enjoyed this episode, I would be so grateful if you take a minute to help spread the word. As a small business owner, shares and reviews go a long way. So share this episode with a friend, share it on your social media, and please leave a review if you haven't done so. This helps these messages get to more mamas, and you guys, that's how we change the world.